The desert kept terrible records. Wind erased footprints before noon. Bones became chalk. Tire tracks dissolved into geometry. A rainstorm could redraw an entire landscape overnight and then vanish for years as though embarrassed by the intensity of the relationship. Even mountains looked temporary in certain light, fading blue and soft at the horizon like thoughts the earth was slowly forgetting. The turtle had lived long enough to notice these things. He lay upside down in a shallow basin of pale gravel, where the ground sagged gently between two low hills. Above him stretched a sky so enormous it no longer resembled weather. It looked structural, a giant blue ceiling holding the world together through sheer indifference. Heat shimmered across the desert floor. Far away, a highway hummed softly with the sleepy drone of trucks moving through nowhere toward somewhere else. The turtle kicked once, then again. The shell shifted perhaps half an inch before settling back into the gravel with a dry crunch. He waited. Nothing. "Well," he said aloud, "that appears unfortunate." His voice sounded ancient even to himself. A crow perched on a crooked fence post several yards away and watched him with sharp professional curiosity. The turtle glanced toward it. "If you're waiting for a dramatic ending, I should mention I've always moved very slowly." The crow blinked. "Yes," the turtle continued. "I understand the branding issue." The crow remained still. "I had hoped to die under more dignified circumstances. Near a creek perhaps. During a sunset. Maybe while dispensing quiet wisdom to a younger turtle who initially misunderstands me, but later reflects upon my words after my passing." The crow tilted its head. "Instead, I appear to have become a decorative bull." The crow eventually lost interest and flew away toward the highway, where fresher opportunities probably existed in the form of roadkill and poor decision-making. The turtle stared upward again. He had never trusted the sky. Too much empty space. The earth made sense. The earth could be touched, dug into, smelled after rain. The earth carried consequences, but the sky was all distance and rumor. Looking into it too long made him feel as though he might fall upward forever. He tried rocking again. Left, right, left. The shell tilted slightly, almost, then flat again. Dust puffed around him. The turtle exhaled slowly. Not ideal. The desert answered with wind slipping through dry grass somewhere beyond the wash. For a long while he simply breathed. Tiny breaths, careful breaths, turtle breaths. The kind that had carried him through droughts and winters and hawks and floods, and one memorable incident involving a weed trimmer outside a motel in New Mexico. That machine had sounded like pure hatred given mechanical form. The turtle remembered hiding entirely inside his shell while gravel and clipped weeds blasted around him like battlefield debris. A man in flip-flops shouted at the machine while repeatedly yanking a starter cord. "Come on, you piece of garbage." The turtle had briefly wondered whether the man was speaking to the machine or existence itself. Afterward, the man noticed him resting near the curb. "Well, look at you," the man had whispered gently. The turtle remembered liking his voice. Gentle voices mattered more than people realized. The man had carried him carefully to the shade beside a drainage ditch and set him down among wildflowers. "There you go, buddy. Buddy." Humans called many things buddy. Dogs, cashiers, bartenders, occasionally malfunctioning appliances. Still, the turtle had appreciated it. He smiled faintly at the memory. Then he looked upward again, still upside down, still trapped. Fear arrived quietly. Fear rarely announced itself dramatically. It usually slipped into the room wearing soft shoes and carrying paperwork. The turtle swallowed. "All right," he whispered. "Let's assess." He remembered the fall vaguely. Climbing the slope beside the wash sometime before dawn while the ground still held traces of coolness. Loose gravel shifting beneath him. A tumble. Sudden impact. Then this. Now he lay there like a bowl overturned upon another bowl. Legs reaching helplessly toward heaven. He understood deserts well enough to know what this meant. Heat, exposure, weakness, stillness. Nature was not cruel about these things, only practical. A lizard darted across a nearby stone and froze. "You look ridiculous," the lizard observed. "Thank you. You dying?" "Eventually. That happens out here." "Yes." The lizard considered him briefly. "Could be worse." "How?" "You could also be on fire." The turtle nodded thoughtfully. "That's true." The lizard scurried away. The turtle sighed. He admired lizards. No philosophy, no nostalgia. Just tiny dragons sprinting around fueled entirely by instinct and terrible impulse control. Turtles, unfortunately, had time. Too much time. Time to remember things they should probably release. Time to replay conversations from 20 years ago and suddenly think of better responses. Time to become emotional about puddles. The sun climbed higher. Heat spread slowly across his shell until it felt like a skillet abandoned beside a campfire. He kicked harder. Nothing. Again, nothing. A sharper breath escaped him now. No. He twisted violently. The shell rocked dangerously. Almost. Then slammed flat again. Pain shot through one leg. Dust burst around him. The effort exhausted him immediately. He lay panting. Above him a vulture circled once in lazy spirals. The turtle stared upward. Don't start measuring curtains yet. The vulture continued circling. The turtle closed his eyes briefly. He remembered another turtle then. A female with amber eyes and a crescent-shaped crack along the edge of her shell. He had loved her, or whatever turtles possessed that resembled love. Humans described love like weather disasters. Thunderstorms, earthquakes, fireworks exploding aboard sinking ships. But turtle love had been quieter, walking beside one another, resting near the same warm stone repeatedly until habit slowly transformed into devotion. She laughed at him often, not cruelly, just honestly. "You climb like a drunk goat," she once told him after he attempted scaling a decorative fountain outside a retirement community and flipped backward into begonias. She laughed so hard she slid halfway off the curb. He smiled despite himself. Then the smile faded. She had died many summers ago after a cold winter weakened her lungs. There had been no speeches, no revelations. One morning she simply breathed slower than usual, then stopped. The earth accepted her immediately. He had remained beside her shell for 2 days afterward because he could not think of anything else to do. A passing rabbit eventually paused nearby. "You all right?" the rabbit asked. "No." The rabbit nodded. "That makes sense." Then it hopped away. The turtle missed her terribly now, not with sharp grief. Sharp grief belonged to the young. This was older, a quieter ache that had settled permanently into the corners of his life like dust collecting in an unused room. The sun climbed higher. The turtle closed his eyes. "I'm not ready," he admitted softly. The words surprised him, not because they were untrue, because he had always imagined he would be better at dying. Age creates arrogance. After enough years surviving things, one begins suspecting survival might actually be a skill instead of statistical luck. But now, upside down in the gravel, he felt exactly like what he was. An animal. Nothing more. A temporary arrangement of appetite and bone. The realization frightened him deeply. He began bargaining next. Not with anyone specific, just generally, the way creatures do. "If I get out of this," he whispered, "I'll stop climbing steep hills." The desert remained unconvinced. "I'll appreciate mornings more." A breeze rolled by carrying the smell of dry creosote. "I'll stop eating cigarette butts whenever I find them." Silence. The turtle frowned upward. "You could at least pretend to negotiate." Thunder muttered somewhere beyond distant mountains, though the sky above him remained brutally blue. Hours passed strangely after that. Desert time behaved differently. It stretched, melted, folded inward. The turtle drifted through memories as though floating through old rooms inside a slowly flooding house. He remembered rainstorms turning the desert briefly green. He remembered strawberries stolen from gardens. He remembered children painting his shell with washable markers while declaring him Commander Pickles. One child had saluted him solemnly. Another tried feeding him a potato chip. The turtle had eaten the potato chip. It was excellent. He remembered surviving winters by burying himself beneath leaves and trusting the earth to remember him in spring. He remembered crossing roads at night while headlights swept past like artificial moons. Mostly he remembered walking. Turtle life was primarily movement interrupted by naps, and now movement had ended. That hurt more than death itself. He had never needed greatness, only continuation. Another season, another hill, another warm stone beneath another sunrise. A cloud drifted overhead and briefly shaded him. The relief nearly made him cry. "Thank you," he whispered to the cloud. Then he laughed weakly. Imagine thanking condensation. The laugh became coughing. His throat felt lined with paper. An ant crawled across the edge of his shell. The turtle watched carefully. Busy day? The ant continued onward without acknowledgement. "I respect that." The ant disappeared into a crack between stones. The turtle envied insects sometimes. Such certainty. No existential crises. No staring at sunsets wondering whether life had meaning. Ants simply continued anting. The turtle wished briefly he could do the same. The afternoon deepened. Heat pressed downward heavily now. The air itself felt exhausted. His thoughts grew strange around the edges. At one point he became convinced a nearby cactus resembled an old teacher he once knew. "Harold?" he asked weakly. The cactus remained a cactus. "Right," the turtle muttered. "That's probably dehydration." He drifted into shallow sleep. Dreams came strangely. In one dream, he walked beside the female turtle through endless green grass neither of them had ever actually seen in real life. "Are we dead?" he asked her. "No." "Then where are we?" "Somewhere written by mammals." That felt correct somehow. He awoke to buzzing flies. Evening approached. The light softened from white to amber. Long shadows stretched across the gravel like spilled ink. The anger arrived suddenly then. "Oh, this is stupid," he snapped. His legs kicked violently. Gravel scattered. "This is an absurd way to die." He twisted harder. "After everything? Hawks, coyotes, lawn equipment, a child named Trevor who tried to skateboard on me." His shell slammed painfully against stone. Pain exploded through him. He groaned loudly. "No," he growled upward. "I object." The sky remained enormous and deeply uninterested. "I object formally." A beetle wandered nearby. The turtle glared. "Don't you look at me." The beetle ignored him with professional indifference. The turtle's rage slowly burned itself empty. That was the problem with anger in old creatures. It required energy. Eventually he simply lay there panting. Night approached quickly. The desert cooled with startling speed as though someone had opened a hidden door and allowed all the heat to escape. Stars emerged one by one, then hundreds, then thousands. The turtle stared upward into impossible numbers. He had always preferred stars to the sun. The sun judged you. Stars merely observed. Something inside him loosened then. Not peace exactly, but quieter. "I suppose this happens," he said softly. A coyote barked somewhere beyond the ridge. Life continued performing itself. That felt oddly comforting. The turtle imagined all the creatures who had vanished before him. Every skeleton beneath the sand. Every feather carried away by wind. Every forgotten heartbeat absorbed back into silence. The desert had room for all of them. Soon enough it would have room for him too. He pictured his shell bleaching pale beneath the sun over many years. Lizards resting beneath him for shade. Dust gathering slowly inside the hollow spaces where his body used to be. Not tragic, just true. Tears gathered in the corners of his eyes. Turtles could cry for practical reasons. Salt regulation, irritation, biology. But these tears felt less scientific. "I had a nice time," he whispered. The words floated upward into starlight. A meteor crossed the sky briefly. The turtle watched it vanish. "That seems about right." He thought about mornings. Cool mud after rain. The particular joy of discovering watermelon rind near campsites. Sleeping safely beneath mesquite roots while thunderstorms rolled overhead. The female turtle laughing in the begonias. Being called buddy. Life, he decided, had mostly consisted of small pleasant interruptions between long periods of uncertainty. That seemed sufficient. Then he remembered the frog. The frog had lived near an irrigation ditch outside a gas station for almost 3 summers. A strange little creature with bulging eyes and a permanent expression of catastrophic revelation. The frog believed deeply in destiny. "Everything means something," the frog used to say. "Does it?" The turtle would reply. "Yes, absolutely." The frog once interpreted a falling pine cone as a warning from the universe regarding emotional vulnerability. Another time he claimed a passing thunderstorm represented a spiritual transition. The turtle had liked him immensely despite finding him exhausting. One evening they sat together watching moths throw themselves against a buzzing gas station light. The frog sighed dramatically. "Don't you ever feel small?" The turtle considered this. "I am small." "No, spiritually." The turtle watched another moth collide loudly with the bulb. "I think everything alive feels small eventually." The frog became quiet. "That's the saddest thing you've ever said." "No," the turtle replied. "It's one of the nicest." The frog disappeared after a flood one year. Maybe dead, maybe relocated. The turtle preferred imagining relocation. He wondered now whether the frog had been right all along. Maybe this meant something. Maybe being trapped beneath infinite stars while reflecting upon mortality was important somehow. Maybe existence occasionally arranged moments of painful clarity for creatures willing to endure them. The turtle liked this idea for nearly 4 minutes. Then a moth flew directly into his face. The moment passed. "Never mind," he muttered. Another hour drifted by. The stars brightened. The turtle grew colder. Breathing became difficult. He no longer kicked. The fight had drained from him gradually, leaking away unnoticed like water from cracked stone. He felt strangely embarrassed by how emotional he had become. All day he had conducted internal speeches as though auditioning for wisdom. Perhaps dying creatures always became theatrical. There was no audience except insects and the occasional bird. Yet something inside him still wanted his ending to matter. That desire itself felt deeply mortal. The turtle turned his eyes toward the horizon. Dark hills rolled beneath starlight like sleeping animals. Wind moved softly across the desert floor, carrying scents of dust and creosote and distant rain that might never actually arrive. He thought about how strange life had been. Not grand, not meaningful in any cosmic sense. Just strange. Entire decades vanished behind him now like roads traveled at night. He could barely remember certain years, yet tiny moments remained perfectly preserved. The taste of peach juice dripping from discarded fruit. A thunderstorm reflected in a puddle. The warmth of another shell beside his during cold weather. A little girl whispering, "He looks wise." Wise. He had spent nearly his entire life confused. But perhaps wisdom was simply confusion that survived long enough to sound thoughtful. The turtle smiled weakly. That's probably it. A breeze touched his face. The stars blurred slightly. He grew tired then, truly tired, not sleepy, finished. The distinction mattered. He realized suddenly that he was no longer afraid. Not because he had conquered fear, because exhaustion had quietly carried it away. Acceptance did not arrive like enlightenment. It arrived like weather, slowly, without permission. The turtle looked upward one final time. "Well," he whispered. "Thank you anyway." He wasn't entirely sure who he was speaking to. The sky perhaps, the earth, existence itself. Maybe gratitude simply needed somewhere to go. Far away came the soft clop of hooves. Slow, unhurried. The turtle barely reacted at first. Another desert sound. Another drifting thing in a world full of drifting things. But the sound grew closer. Over the ridge wandered a donkey carrying no saddle and apparently no plans whatsoever. Its fur looked silver beneath the moonlight. Its ears twitched lazily. The donkey stopped upon seeing the turtle. The turtle opened one eye. "Well," he whispered, "you're unexpected." The donkey stared at him silently for a long moment, then lowered its head and sniffed him. The turtle managed a faint smile. "If you're here to discuss mortality, I'm nearly finished." The donkey sneezed directly into his face. "Fair enough." Wind moved through dry grass. The donkey chewed thoughtfully on absolutely nothing. The turtle watched it carefully. "You know," he murmured, "I've spent this entire day reflecting upon existence." The donkey blinked. "I revisited my regrets, my loves, my understanding of impermanence." The donkey scratched its neck against one leg. "I confronted the inevitability of death beneath an indifferent cosmos." The donkey farted softly. The turtle closed his eyes. "Yes," he whispered, "that tracks." Another silence settled. Then, with the casual indifference of weather itself, the donkey shifted its weight, lifted one hoof, and kicked the turtle squarely in the shell. The world flipped violently. Gravel exploded beneath him. Suddenly he was upright, standing, alive. The turtle blinked several times. His legs trembled beneath him. Everything worked. The donkey had already started wandering away into darkness. The turtle took one cautious step, then another. No revelation arrived. No spiritual awakening. No magnificent appreciation for existence surged through him. Mostly he felt confused. The donkey continued disappearing over the ridge. "Wait," the turtle called weakly. The donkey did not stop. "I just experienced something deeply transformative." No response. The turtle stood beneath the stars for a very long time. A strange embarrassment settled over him. All that grief, all those conclusions, the speeches, the bargaining, the acceptance, hours wrestling mortality like a philosopher trapped inside overturned cookware. And now, fine, entirely fine. The universe had not delivered enlightenment, only a hoof. The turtle considered this carefully. Then, despite everything, he laughed. A deep, tired laugh that echoed softly across the gravel. "Well," he said eventually, "I suppose that happens too." Above him the stars burned cold and ancient and utterly unconcerned. The desert continued keeping terrible records. And somewhere ahead in the darkness, the donkey wandered onward, having accidentally interrupted one of the most emotionally significant evenings of the turtle's life without noticing at all. The turtle watched the donkey disappear. Then he slowly began walking again, one foot, then another. The desert stretched endlessly ahead of him beneath silver moonlight. After several minutes, he stopped beside a small stone and stared at it thoughtfully. "I almost died today," he informed the stone. The stone offered no opinion. "That feels important." "Still nothing." The turtle sighed. "Yes, perhaps not." He resumed walking.